Tonight, we are diving into the 2024 global elections. Meanwhile, the impact of this election on international stage is very, very huge. Let's remember, 2024 isn't just another year with elections. It's a year that mirrors our global political landscape. Good evening and welcome to the Synopsis with Artie. This is a show where big issues and complex topics are distilled into clear and concise summaries. Each episode will tackle the major stories shaping our world, from global politics to economic upheavals, technological advancements, and social movements, particularly issues happening in Thailand. So, we are here to cut through the noise, offering you the essence of what you really need to know. Tonight, we are diving into the 2024 global elections. It's a significant year with over 60 countries representing half of the world's population going to the polls because it's going to shape the geopolitical landscape of the international community. So, 2024 is a crucial year in world politics. The stakes have never been higher. So stay with the Synopsis for in-depth analysis and comprehensive coverage. This year, Africa is at a pivotal point with key elections across the continent. Nations like Senegal and South Africa aren't just voting on local issues. Their elections have broader implications, affecting Africa's role in global politics and economy. In South Africa, a major election is set for May. There's a real chance the African National Congress, or ANC, could lose its majority for the first time since 1994. Because I wasn't even born yet. Oh, I lied. I'm older than that. But anyway, this could lead to significant political shifts as the ANC might need to form coalition to maintain power. The public's dissatisfaction with issues like high unemployment, crime, and corruption is a driving force behind this potential change. In Senegal, the elections are just as crucial. As a leading voice in African Union and the economic community of the West African states, Senegal's political direction can influence regional policy on trade, security, and human rights. The outcome here could resonate across the continent, shaping Africa's approach to trade and political integration. These elections will test the continent's democratic resilience. They're happening in a landscape where foreign influence is growing, especially from China and Russia. The results could affect not just African nations but also international relations, as countries like the US and their allies seek to balance this influence from Russia and China. Now, turning to Asia, where the elections in Taiwan, India, and Pakistan stand out in the potential to reshape the geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific region. In Taiwan, the tension between the pro-independence leaders and Beijing's preferred candidates shaped their political landscape. China's optimal result would be a victory of the Kuomintang party, potentially renewing and expanding cross-state economic links. But the US, however, following a one-China policy, opposes any forced change to Taiwan's status, adding layers of international complexity to the election. Over in India, the world's largest democracy, general elections are set between April and May. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's party aims to maintain or even extend its majority in the Sabha. However, the opposition accused the BJP of undermining democratic institutions and promoting Hindu nationalism policies. The outcome here are crucial as they could impact India's role in the Indo-Pacific region, especially in balancing Chinese and Russian influence. Now, in Pakistan, following the ousting and arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, the general election schedule for February 2024 is pivotal. I said pivotal a lot because it's really pivoting. But anyway, the political turmoil and Khan's legacy continue to influence the nation. Pakistan election will be a deciding factor in its future relations with neighboring India and its role in strategic Indo-Pacific region. The outcomes of these elections in Asia could influence everything from regional security to global trade dynamic, making them crucial points of focus in 2024. Europe is not without their own drama. In Belarus and Russia, elections this year are set against a backdrop of internal dissent and geopolitical tension. Obviously, right? Why do I have to say that? But anyway, let's dive into Russia's political scene. President Vladimir Putin a family name because he's in power since 1999. Now, as of late last year, his approval ratings hovered around 60%. That's quite a number for Russian politics, influenced by his foreign policy and how he's handling the things at home. But it's not all smooth sailing. The Russian government, well, they got a pretty tough grip on opposition. Alexei Navalny's imprisonment really highlights the limited room for dissent here. Navalny's become something of a symbol. Yet how this will play out in the upcoming elections, well, it's still up in the air. Economically speaking, Russia is facing some headwinds. International sanctions, especially due to the Ukraine situation. The economy is growing, sure, but it's modest. Inflation, declining foreign investment, these issues are hitting the Russian people directly. The media also is under a tight grip of the government. The government's narrative dominates national media, shaping how people see things, which could sway voter opinions and turnout. Foreign policies-wise, Russia's action in Ukraine and tense relations with NATO play big roles domestically and abroad. It's a delicate dance on the global stage, affecting Russia's international standing and support back home. Switching over to the United States, as it heads toward the 2024 presidential election, the election is shaping up to be a defining moment. Divided public opinion, critical issues like healthcare and the economy, and the potential for high voter turnout, especially among younger demographics, are setting the stage for a highly impactful election. Okay, so the early polls show a divided electorate. Joe Biden, the incumbent president's approval is around 45%, and there's a lot of speculation about potential candidates, including, you guess it, Donald Trump. Also, healthcare reform, the state of the economy post-pandemic, climate change policy, social justice, and immigration are also big on the agenda. Voter engagement is expected to be high, especially among younger voters, reflecting the trends we saw back in 2020. Meanwhile, the impact of this election on international stage is very, very huge. So, it's going to affect trade, especially with China, global climate initiatives, and NATO commitments. Economically speaking, the US is still grappling with COVID-19 recovery, unemployment rates, and the stock market. These factors will likely sway voter decisions. The US is at a crossroads with an election outcome that could influence and not just domestic policy, but the global geopolitical and economic landscape. Alright, as we wrap up today's episode, let's remember 2024 isn't just another year with elections. It's a year that mirrors our global political landscape. It's a lot to keep an eye on, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. But don't worry. The Synopsis with Artie will be right here with you. We'll bring in-depth analysis and coverage of these unfolding stories. So, if you want to stay updated even when we are off the air, make sure to follow the nation on all of our social media platforms. Ding, 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 ding. We'll keep you informed with the latest news and insights right as they happen. This is Artie, signing off from the Synopsis. Have a great evening and stay informed.